A leaked memo says ICE is planning large-scale raids in the Los Angeles area. My name is Dina Doll with the MeidasTouch Network. Let's break this down. So the Los Angeles Times received an internal memo saying that by the end of February, so any day now, they are going to be conducting large-scale raids. They plan on using not only ICE enforcement officers, but also DEA enforcement officers, as well as FBI. The memo, it's unclear which department leaked that memo. Kristi Noem, head of Department of Homeland Security, was very upset about the leak. This leak shows that there are still employees within these agencies that don't agree with what Trump is doing. And what is he doing? ProPublica and Texas Tribune have showed that only half of the undocumented immigrants that were rounded up by ICE between January 20th and February 2nd were criminals or had a criminal record. He is rounding up law-abiding citizens, husbands, most of them are men, fathers, brothers, sons, people who have lived here all of their lives. There is a case in Los Angeles in Echo Park. He came here when he was 2 years old from El Salvador. Him and his wife were putting their children in the car in order to take them to school when ICE showed up at the car and literally took him right there. These stories of what's happening in Los Angeles, that particular story that was reported, is happening over and over. There are people who are not sending their children for schools for exactly that reason, because ICE is waiting outside of schools for parents to show up. These are not people who have records. If they have criminal records and they're going to get a warrant and they're showing up at that person's home, no, this is racial profiling. This is looking at the color of somebody's skin, perhaps even the addresses where they live, and hoping that if you ask enough people, you will find somebody who's undocumented. This man, this father who's lived here since he's 2, is now in a detention center, and his children are devastated. And these are the real world ramifications of Trump's disgusting deportation policy. Los Angeles is not taking this sitting down. As we know, the state of California with Governor Newsom and the state legislatures have allocated $50 million to stand up to Trump's deportation plan, specifically funding legal aid groups, nonprofit legal aid groups, in order to allow people who are being held by detention to get lawyers. But in addition to that, there are so many organizations in Los Angeles that are standing and protesting what Trump is doing. They're also being helpful in a very practical way. They call themselves the Community of Self-Defense Coalition, and there is a hotline. The Los Angeles Rapid Response Network has a hotline where somebody is supposed to call to report ICE activity. They then send somebody to confirm it is ICE activity, because there's so much fear right now. I mean, personally, because I'm a lawyer, I've had people reach out to me and ask me, what are my rights? I'm not even an immigration lawyer, but there are so many people afraid of what's going to happen. In fact, I'm not going to go into details because that would put everybody at harm's way. This is the climate right now. Los Angeles went from fires and the devastation of the fires to people now being afraid that they are going to get deported, despite the fact that they're law-abiding citizens who have lived and contributed in the community for years. So this hotline, they send somebody to confirm that this is not a rumor, to try to mitigate this kind of fear and spread of any kind of false information out there. But if there is ICE activity, they notify their coalition of organizations and send somebody there to assist with a person that's dealing with this. So in real time, you're having this coalition, these organizations, these people that love and care about the undocumented people who live here. We care about them. There's so much hate coming out of the Trump administration, wanting to blame them for the fact that corporate CEOs aren't willing to pay a living wage, but can pay themselves millions. And instead of pointing to them, they decide to have hate toward this undocumented community that is literally cleaning up the debris from the fires, and now has to also hope and protect themselves from being deported. This sick and depraved policy coming to Los Angeles. Thankfully, communities here really trying to rally together to protect people, but there is sometimes not a lot that can be done. So definitely this hotline is a very useful tool. And there's a reason why this whole thing about Trump trying to blame the economy, the fact that American workers aren't keeping pace, aren't getting ahead, because it's true. American workers, the everyday worker is not earning a living wage, but it's not because of undocumented workers. If it were, then wouldn't you think that California, which has the highest undocumented population in the country, would have the worst economy? But of course, we know that's not true. California contributes so much more in taxes to the rest of the country. It has fifth largest economy in the world. Now, the states that are hurting, the red states that are hurting, don't actually have migrants going there. Migrants are going to California, and California is rich, not just culturally rich and diverse because of it, but it is rich because of it. Immigrants in 2022, undocumented immigrants, paid $75.6 billion in taxes. And we're talking the whole country, but specifically in California, $8.5 billion in state and local taxes in 2022. We're talking about them contributing to our economy, not taking from our economy. Not only that, but undocumented immigrants, as we know, make up a significant portion of our agricultural industry, which is a huge industry in California, our construction industry, which is another significant industry in our state. And in 2022, in terms of actual spending, never mind taxes, but spending in 2022, undocumented immigrants had a combined spending power of more than $254 billion in the country. So undocumented immigrants might be easy for Trump to scapegoat because of the color of their skin, perhaps because of the accent that they speak, perhaps because their legal rights are very limited. They're easy to scapegoat, but their contribution to the economy is not only obvious by the numbers, but it's obvious because the state of California, which has the largest percentage, you would think then would have a much worse economy than it does. So this is why the state of California is willing to spend $50 million. It's not that much if you think about it compared to the amount of billions of dollars, the taxes that undocumented immigrants pay into. So undocumented immigrants are important to California economically, and because we care about them, we are them.
Everyone who knows me knows how much I love this sponsor. It's OneSkin. They are an incredible product that I've been using now for over a year, and I've incorporated it into my skincare routine. So if you're frustrated with your current skincare routine, for years, products have promised to fix lines, wrinkles, crepey skin, but they hardly ever deliver lasting results. That's why today's sponsor, OneSkin, changes everything. In honor of National Women's Inventors Month, we're highlighting OneSkin's founding team of female scientists who developed a whole new approach to skincare, starting at the cellular level. Their proprietary OS1 peptide is the first peptide scientifically proven to reverse skin aging by switching off the dysfunctional senescent cells that cause lines, wrinkles, and crepey skin. You can try OS1 in all of their products and their supplements. You can try their flagship facial moisturizer, which is the one I happen to love, their award-winning eye cream. They also have sunskins that protect the skin from UV damage and cellular aging. Your skin is your body's largest organ, and so it's the most linked to visible signs of aging. And with OneSkin, you're helping your skin look, feel, and act like its younger self every time you use it. So see for yourself with an exclusive 15% off using code MISTRIAL with 2 S's at oneskin.co. So I personally love OneSkin. People are always surprised to find out that I'm 58. I'm a grandmother, proudly. And I think it's because of largely my skin. And my skin makes me look a lot younger. And it's because I take good care of it, especially with One Skin. That is just this wonderful product. So it's founded by all women-led team of skin longevity scientists, also a perk. And it's redefining the aging process with their proprietary OS1 peptide. It's the first scientifically proven ingredient to help skin look, feel, and behave like its younger self. Get 15% off with code MISSTRIAL, MISSTRIAL, at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code MISSTRIAL. After you purchase, tell them you support our show and that you heard about this from MiSSTrial.
None of Trump's proposed plans since he's gotten into office helps the American worker. His deportation of working undocumented immigrants hurts the American worker. He's planning on slashing Medicaid, hurts the American worker. He doesn't have any overtime exemption on tips or no tax on tips as he promised. That hurts the American worker. Never mind there being no proposal to raise the federal minimum wage, which is right now $7.25, which Senator Kim in this exchange showed that's $15,000 a year. So surely, if Trump really cared about American workers, instead of spending millions of hard-earned taxpayer dollars to round up family members who are paying taxes and earning an income, he would raise the federal minimum wage. Take a look at what Senator Kim said in his questioning. He's questioning the appointment of Trump has to the National Labor Board. The Labor Board, which technically is supposed to be pro-labor. And even she can't muster the indignity of the federal minimum wage, saying that it is enough for $7.25 an hour to be the standard by which people earn a living wage. Take a look.
I recognize that it hasn't been changed, the minimum wage.
I guess I'm just asking you, do you think that's enough for a worker to live on? I'm just trying to get a sense of your vision for what the standard of life for an American worker is.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, for every state, for every community, again, I mentioned Oregon. What happens in Portland doesn't happen in Grants Pass. It certainly doesn't happen.
I understand that about Oregon, but I guess I would ask you, what is $7.25 an hour? That is what in an annual term? Do you know off the top of your head?
Oh,
it's not a math question. So I'm just trying to get a sense of it. So it's about $15,000 a year.
Yeah.
So I guess I just want to ask you, do you think that there is a state in this country where someone can live comfortably on their own for $15,000 a year?
Well, I don't know if there is, but I would look and work with Congress. This is a congressional issue. I hope I can support you in telling the story of what's happening on the ground.
But that's what I'm just trying to get a sense of from you is what your vision is.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.